Learn more about this exciting radio broadcasting opportunity by calling WNZK Radio at 248-557-3500. This is WNZK, Dearborn Heights, Detroit. Your ethnic superstation at 690 days, 680 nights.
Good morning. My name is Ike Engelbaum. I'm the host of The Bright Side of Aging and the Entrepreneurs Network radio show. Due to popular demand, today we bring back Bob Allison's Ask Your Neighbor radio broadcast. Bob passed away last March, and due to the current COVID crisis, his broadcast left the air after nearly 60 years of solving household problems for the neighbors. But today, we'll devote a portion of this broadcast to helping you, the neighbors. It could be looking for a particular recipe, where to buy it, how to do it, advice of travel or personal matters, and more. I've invited Bob's son, Rob, to join us for his thoughts and input. Rob has been a critical part of Ask Your Neighbor for some 25 years. The Ask Your Neighbor website, askyourneighbor.com, still offers a number of Bob Allison's popular cookbooks and hundreds of recipes as well. Do you have a common household problem that you'd like solved? Well, while we're on the air, why don't you call our call-in number 248-557-3300 and ask your neighbor. That's 248-557-3300 for the next hour. Wow. Don't go away. We'll be right back. For over 30 years, Cruz Hearing and Service has helped thousands of neighbors improve their hearing and enjoy the sounds of their life again. In fact, I'm a client. If you don't hear as well as you'd like, Cruz Hearing can help you. They have an excellent selection of hearing units to fit just about any need and budget with financing available. Trust me, I can attest to that personally. They have 3 convenient locations to serve you: Farmington Hills, Taylor, and their newest in Waterford on M59, west of the airport. Phone Cruz Hearing Aid Service toll-free for a free hearing evaluation. Their phone number is 877-456-CRUZ, C-R-U-Z, or visit them on their web at cruzhearing.com. That number again is 877-456-2789. Financing is available. And Bob Allison, who is no longer around, was one of the clients, and Bob Allison's cookbooks are available. If you call Cruz Hearing, ask for the free cookbook and get a free hearing evaluation at the same time. For that, call 888-489-8980. Call 1-888-489-8980. Even if you don't get the hearing aids, you'll still get a free hearing test as well as a free Bob Allison cookbook. 1-888-489-8980. In 1932, John B. Frentz moved to Royal Oak and opened Frentz Hardware. In addition to the personal service, the family offered the community a store that provided those needed everyday hardware items. Plus, they specialize in unusual and hard-to-find products. Right now, you'll find all the gardening hardware, fertilizer, seeds, weed killers, and more for your landscape. Friend's Hardware is still family-run at the corner of Main Street and 11.5 Mile Road in Royal Oak, and according to Popular Mechanics magazine, is one of the top 12 hardware stores in the United States. If you can't find it anywhere, you'll find it at Friends. They're open every day. Call 248-544-8111. And when you call, Bob Allison's cookbooks are available for free. A limited supply is available. And if you would like some information on Bob Allison's cookbooks, by all means, call our toll-free number, 888-489-8980. But for hardware needs, call them directly, 248-544-8111. With all those numbers, I assume you'll be able to get a lottery ticket for free. Or at least $1 million. Hope that you check out Friends Hardware in Royal Oak. Thank you. And I can't urge you strongly enough. I'm so strongly urged. I'm having a tough time even describing it. While we're on the air, as was mentioned, 248-557-3300. We welcome your calls, not only about household needs, but also how you are doing under the current COVID problem. We're really having problems even speaking. The truth of it is that we're under so much stress that right now anything to give you a little upbeat feeling would be wonderful. And I am really excited about having two guests on today that hopefully will make your day a little bit brighter than it normally is. Glenna Schmidt, who's been an ambassador for our American Senior Gazette for years, is due to call in regards to possibly telling us about planting a retainer gardening. And all the supplies that you may need are available at Friends Hardware, and also at other nurseries, of course. But since they're a sponsor, I try to make sure that I encourage you to go there. And I'll tell you, I am not a Mr. Fix-It type, but they have got everything under the sun that you need. And we can put you in touch with some of the people that can actually do the installation. For example, they've got devices to help you get in and out of the car. Many times they don't have that strap for someone that's struggling. You can actually have a unit, an extra handle put in, and it doesn't require tools or anything. He's got a lot of neat stuff. Just walk around. And our good buddy Felix Cruz and his son Josh now have caption telephones. What does that mean, Ike? It means that if you're having any difficulty hearing on the phone, if you're 65 or over, you are eligible to get a phone that hooks in just like a regular telephone, and whoever calls you, whatever they're saying comes up on the screen. It's like having your own little TV. And whoever is trying to talk to you can be the TV star. I've checked it out. It's phenomenal. I am now a patient of Felix's, and he's phenomenal. Calm, relaxed guy. It just works out the best for you. And Felix actually is also a professor at Wayne State University. So this guy knows what he's talking about. And his son Josh is just good, gosh, amazing. They've got 3 offices. So by all means, support our sponsors if you want to listen to questions that the neighbors come up with, and hopefully you can call in if you do have some issues in your home. And as was mentioned in the intro, Bob Allison used to do the show for close to 60 years, 60. And he has so many people that when he and I would go out to have lunch, invariably because of the beautiful voice he had, someone would come over to the table and ask if it was okay for him to give them an autograph. And he never turned anybody down. He was just a wonderful human being, and because of my doing the show, we'd see each other at least once a week, and I felt like an extended family member. So by all means, the program is really very unique. You got all these cable stations and all, and they serve a purpose, but you can be over-cableized, cannibalized as well, because 24 hours a day, it's all politics and serious type stuff that just adds to the frustrations that you may have. And I know that for those of you who listen to the program routinely, are very familiar with a very sexy sounding voice, and his name is Lou Goutman. Mr. Sexy Lou Goutman, are you on the line, sir?
Good morning, Ike. It's so nice to hear you live.
live and kicking, yes, sir.
Yes. Good morning. Yes, Bob, of course, was a very, very special person to a lot of the listeners, the neighbors, and he was, of course, very special to you and me as well. And sadly missed. But I wanted to call in. Speaking of ask your neighbor, and if I may give a couple of little updates about some new scams that have been going around. And with your permission.
Oh yeah, no, I'll tell you. In fact, I encourage you or anybody listening to share, because that's the only way we have an opportunity to possibly do something about it, because a lot of times people are too embarrassed when they get scammed, and they pay big money and feel that their friends will think they're stupid, that they got sucked in. So by all means, let's keep that going.
I came across one that kind of surprised me in some ways and didn't surprise me. Not too much surprises me anymore, but I came across one that apparently a lot of the older folks out there, and I'm included in that group, are getting some calls from people purporting to be from Medicare, and they're telling people that due to the COVID virus, they're replacing their Medicare card, which the neighbors will know, or the listeners will know, that are just a cardboard card, or a paperboard card that the government sends out, with red, white, and blue, with a plastic card. And I'm presuming that they're telling people that because you can wipe it down with sanitizer or alcohol or what have you. The point is that is a scam call. Medicare is not calling people. They are not replacing your Medicare card with a plastic card. My guess is that what they're doing is they're asking for the Medicare number. As some of the listeners who are 65 and older may know, that originally your Medicare card had your Social Security number with a couple of extra letters or numbers after that. But a couple of years ago, Medicare changed and reissued all new cards with unique codes that do not include your Social Security number. So please be cautious. If somebody purports to be from Medicare and is calling you, do not give them any information. They will not do that. They will not call you. They will send you a letter. That's one of the latest things that came to my attention recently.
It's a very not to interrupt, but I was just going to verify. The worst thing is when you get a call from somebody that you don't know, and they're asking for something as personal as your numbers like that. It's an obvious red flag. You should never give that kind of information out.
Absolutely. And if anybody calls and asks for your Social Security number or a credit card number and you don't recognize the call, you just hang up. Do not, in fact, the best thing to do is not even engage in a conversation with those people. Just do not, even if you know that they're a scam, don't play along. Just immediately hang up the phone if somebody purports to be from Medicare, the IRS, anybody else like that. If you are not sure, just hang up the phone.
Right.
Anyway, that's one scam, as I said, that just came to mind or came to my attention rather very, very recently. So please be very protective. Same thing goes with your credit card. Another scam that's going around is for those of the listeners who have email. Sometimes there are some emails going around about an order that you placed for some such product, and you're looking at it and you don't recognize that. That is a scam. So please be very, very cautious about emails that you don't recognize. And if you don't think you ordered a product from Amazon or Walmart or something like that, or you don't recognize that, please, again, do not respond to that email. Do not click on the email. Just delete it. I get some of those in my email box probably once or twice a week. Your order number 12345 is shipped. And of course, that's a scam, because what they want you to do is call up and say, well, wait a minute, I didn't order that. And then they'll ask you for your credit card or something like that. You don't want to respond to those.
Right. No, if it's a different voice, and unfortunately, elderly people welcome someone that's a human being at the other end of the line, and unfortunately, that's one of the other problems we run into with this whole COVID thing. People are so lonely and what have you. Lou, you are a wealth of information, and I look forward to your checking in whenever you have time, as you always have great information for us.
Thank you.
Right now, have a guest that you may know is involved with the whole way of actually preventing getting into really serious dilemmas health-wise, and he and his father have actually come up with a very neat concept of combining honey with CBD.
All right.
So if you want to
sounds like a sweet deal.
Yeah, right. Well, if you want to hang on, the nice thing about radio and telephones is that we can actually schmooze, as they say. And,
why don't I do this? So you can devote time to your guest and leave the lines open for maybe some of the listeners to call in. Why don't I just hang up and listen on the air?
Okay, all right. Well, great talking to you, and
likewise.
Happy New Year.
And yes, thank you, and to all our Jewish listeners, happy and healthy New Year from Ike and myself.
Right.
And if anybody has any comments or questions off the air, Ike will give his phone number out. So everybody take care and stay safe.
Right. Well, thank you for calling in and following Lou's suggestion, our toll-free number for those of you who listen to the program while we're on the air, please call 248-557-3300 if you have any comments about any of these scams, and also any comments that our guests make and you want to pipe in. If we have the time, we'd love to hear your voice. We try to stay on topic, and right now, as we alluded to, COVID is a big issue. And I'm really excited to have connected with Ruby Bees, and we've got a young, dynamic son of the owner, Peter Pearson, and you're going to give us an upbeat approach to making life a little bit sweeter. So first of all, tell us about how you got involved with combining honey and CBD. Go for it.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, hello everybody, and hello Ike. Thank you very much for having me on your show. I'm excited to be here and to talk about what we've got going on, and hopefully if people are interested in CBD and want to know more about it, hopefully I can shed some light on this topic and give some people information maybe they were looking to hear.
No, absolutely. So, go ahead.
Yeah. So, my name is Pearson, and I am currently the operations manager for the company Ruby Bees. And what we do is we infuse honey products with a CBD isolate. Now, for those of you who do not know what CBD is, it is a natural phytonutrient derived from the hemp plant. And a lot of you may think hemp, marijuana, the two are the same thing. They are in some regard, but are definitely not. So I want to just quickly dispel just maybe a myth or two about what it is. So when you derive something from the hemp plant, it contains below 0.3 THC, which is the psychoactive element of what you would find in the marijuana plant. And what we do with ours is we actually take the isolated CBD molecule, which is the anti-inflammatory part of the plant, and we put that into our products. So there's no psychoactive elements to it, none of any of that, just the pure medicinal anti-inflammatory part of it. And the best comparison that I like to draw to start off right away is that when you look at a Chihuahua versus a Great Dane, I'll use dogs, they are technically the same species, just like the hemp plant and the marijuana plant are. But they are so far genetically differentiated from each other that you would look at them and almost not think they are. And Great Danes being so large, and, you know, I would almost compare that to the marijuana plant. They've been bred to be large to, you know, serve a very specific purpose, almost like, you know, the Chihuahua was. They have different purposes and different, essentially, genetic makeups, although they're the same species. So that's just a, you know, quick breakdown on the difference between it and the best way that I understand it. And we've taken the isolate and we put it in a sweeter blend of clover honey, which we prefer, Ruby prefers, Peter prefers, and it's sweeter and easy to enjoy. So that's just a quick little breakdown. We started the company roughly 2 years ago, and I had moved down from college and started helping out with the company last year in September. So it's been a little over a year since I started helping out. And since then, we've been able to get our product into the hands of people who could really use it. Being a natural anti-inflammatory, it helps out with aches and pains, headaches, and everything along those lines. So the company is named after my sister Ruby, who has cerebral palsy and epilepsy. And giving her CBD for the past 5 years, which was a derivative off of Charlotte's Web, which some of you may have heard of, we've been giving it to her in conjunction with her seizure medication. And that has helped mitigate her seizures. And thankfully, in the past 5 years that she's been taking it, we haven't had any need to upgrade her medicine to a higher dosage, and she has not had a grand mal seizure since. So it's just such a helpful and amazing product, and we're excited to be part of this new industry and to get it into the hands of the people who need it the most.
You remember a while back, and I think you're still getting articles written as to the merits of something that's logically and makes so much common sense for treating illness, and that is natural type stuff. I heard a very interesting discussion in regards to how you can take preventative type ways of dealing with the potential COVID crisis. And believe it or not, vitamin D as such seems to have tremendous benefits, and the smartest thing people can do is to go to their doctors, and there are doctors throughout the country who can take a simple blood test whereby it determines the strength of vitamin D that's normal to have, and the current theory is it's like 20 to 50 what they call nanograms per milliliter, and and if you're in that range, it's sort of a bit of a safety net. And along comes Ruby Bees, and we've for years known how honey can benefit, even when you get out there and your skin's affected, you got to cut. Honey many times has helped in that healing benefit as well. So tell me about the availability. How do people find out about it?
Sure. So we sell in quite a wide variety of stores. Right now, our primary area of distribution is Michigan, but we also have quite a few locations in Pennsylvania, over in California, in Texas, where right now we're in roughly 30 states that we're selling our product in. And we also primarily sell online at rubybees.com. And right now we're actually in the process of updating our website to a brand new, looks a lot cleaner than our original little Weebly website that I threw together. So I'm updating the website now, and it actually will have a store locator on it. So you'll be able to go right there and type in whatever your location is. Normally on your computer, your location will already be enabled, so it'll just pop up within a 15 to 20 mile radius of all of the places near you that sell Ruby Bees, which I think is going to be really great. So other than that, you can of course always get it on our website.
And of course, my safety net phone number, and I welcome calls, because I feel great when people call our toll-free number 888-489-8980, because it lets me be in direct touch with people that are listening. And this radio without having listeners is not too much fun. So feel free to call our toll-free number. And I know Dr. Milton Stern, who happens to be my podiatrist, has it in his office, and he's reordered it frequently. And he is right on Northwestern and 12 Mile Road. And of course, now with the current situation, it pays to call ahead to find out as to his availability. But I can set all of that up if they call our toll-free number, 1-888-489-8980. And to add a professional note to our program today, I'm really excited also about having Dr. Asha Gupta call in. I don't know, Pearson, if you know Dr. Gupta, but
first of all, I must thank you for taking over. Bob Ellis was a gem.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
And I wish I could meet him more frequently.
Yes, well.
I used to go all the way to listen to piano at the Detroit Rotary Club on Wednesday.
Yeah, he was a Rotarian. And by the way,
great guy.
Oh,
you had a sexy voice. Somebody had a sexy voice earlier. I missed him.
I'm sure Lou is going to get really excited about that.
Oh my gosh, I know. I talked to him last, it's so much time we have to talk to people now.
Oh yeah, well listen.
And everyone is not watching too much TV.
Yeah, well, and people are welcome to call in 248-557-3300. And the theme of the program, which I'd like to continue, is that asking your neighbor, and so many people by by the program, have made connections, and I get calls off the air wondering about some of the listeners that used to call in routinely, and I'm hoping we can reach out to those people. And Dr. Gupta, you and I talked before we got on the air. You are going to a lot of these conferences, and you mentioned
on Zoom. Yep, everything on Zoom, 99.9%.
Right, and you were mentioning about the importance of knowing your vitamin D level. Is that correct?
Yeah. Actually, Dr. Kaufman, I think I sent you the article. Dr. Kaufman wrote recently, September 17th, that you must know your vitamin D level. Mm-hmm. It's good to keep above 30 ng per ml.
Mm-hmm.
So this has been a very old information in vitamin D. We have a very powerful guy, one of the top 20 in the country, Dr. Rao. Mm-hmm. So Dr. Rao, he's the head of metabolism for 49 years. Mm. He has been talking about vitamin D for several years, actually.
Right. Well,
so vitamin D is not only, it's like a hormone. So we're learning more and more, but this is new, of course, in the last 6 months. They found people who have low vitamin D, they get more complication and more positivity rate for COVID.
Mm. Well, anybody...
So that's a powerful statement by coming from the Dr. Kaufman. I think I sent you the name.
Yes, and Pearson's venture into combining honey and with CBD.
Honey is always good. I bought some from Costco the other day.
Well, I want people to be encouraged to buy the honey straws. Tell us about the packaging and all, Pearson. As far as the
so originally what we did is we started with just honey sticks, and we just put roughly 5 grams of honey in these tubes, and then put another protective layer over it, which made it antimicrobial, a little bit safer. And I think in hindsight that was an incredible decision, because a lot of the honey sticks that we saw before were just in the plastic tubes themselves. And you walk in, and kids will walk in and they'll grab it and they put their hand in their mouth, and then they'll go and they'll touch the honey sticks, and we're like, well, we want ours to be a little bit more sanitary and a little bit safer. And like I said, in hindsight, that was an amazing decision, because then everything started coming out with COVID. So now, we were on the market with a safer, packaging, and something that was more antimicrobial and safer for people to go disinfect and then open the package and there's their honey stick. So that's what we started out with. Then we moved into honey jars. We did a 1.5 ounce jar and a 12 ounce jar. And those we make sure that we make with a regional honey. So for our Michigan jars, we're getting our honey right out of Ortonville. And we also do a sweeter blend of clover. And we're looking into, for future development, I'm reaching out to apiaries in other states, and I'd like to get a regional blend for everywhere that we sell. So I'd like to get some for Florida. I'd like to get a Tennessee blend. I'd like to get one for everywhere. So that way I can go to the farmers markets and provide people with a honey that matches their pollen profile, which is a big thing in the health community.
And also a big issue always is people, how much is it? So tell us about how it's priced.
For sure. So we retail each honey stick for $2, and each stick has 10 milligrams of CBD isolate in it. And I would compare that to roughly within the ballpark of a Motrin 200. And, $2 a honey stick is a really good price point. It's to the point where people feel really good about, putting that $2 honey stick in their coffee or eating it right out of the straw and getting those similar medicinal benefits. As for the jars, we retail each of the 1.5 ounce jars for $10, and that's the equivalent of roughly 12 honey sticks. It has 120 milligrams of CBD isolate in it. And for our 12 ounce jars, we do 45, and that has 950 milligrams, so roughly the value of 95 honey sticks. And, as you go up and you add these bulk packaging, we discount the price pretty heavily for convenience and just for bulk purchasing. And we do also sell, 50 packs online, but those are more tailored towards, convenience stores. They're in a point of purchase display, but they're also just great if you want to put them in your kitchen and just grab them right out of the little display box. Kind of like a Nutri-Grain bar box.
Wow. And I mean, you were saying that you can actually feel the benefits rather quickly if it works for you. And being a pharmacist, I can tell you firsthand, and it's not my original, there is no drug out there that's good for everybody. It's going to have the same effects. But the good news is, with something like this, where you're dealing with pain, if you mentioned that after about a half hour, if you don't feel the pain as you did in the earlier time, you know right away that, hey, this is something that I can benefit from. And we're
exactly
right now. It seem logical that for $2, if you can have pain go away, that's better. The pain goes away than it stays. So
yeah, well, you hit the nail on the head. I was going to say, if you forget 30 minutes after having that honey stick that your leg or your wrist was hurting pretty bad, then the stick did its job. And that's the best part, to forget that you had that pain in that time.
Right.
And we, like you said, I also think you hit the nail on the head by saying, it does and doesn't work for everybody. Everybody is different. You are your own unique flower, the way we see it. So, if one honey stick doesn't work, some people might have 2 honey sticks to feel it. And also, despite your own personal physiology and how your body works, everybody too has different degrees of pain. So a more severe pain would require, maybe 2 or 3 honey sticks in comparison to 1. So one of our benchmarks that we'll use is for Ruby herself. She'll take 2 honey sticks in the morning and 2 honey sticks in the evening. So 4 honey sticks per day, and that's what we have Ruby dosed at. If it were for me, when I have a headache, I'll typically take 1, and that'll be good. I'll just take the straw straight up, and that'll be good. Or it helps a lot with restlessness as well. And with that, I'll usually put a honey stick in my tea, stir it up, and just take that, and it helps me relax through the night. And I think really quick while I'm talking about that, it's important to make a distinguishing statement regarding helping with restlessness versus making you tired. So these sticks don't necessarily, CBD doesn't make you tired, but it does help you relax. So I just want to make sure that's kind of distinguished, and there shouldn't be a fear of having CBD and worried about getting drowsy or sleepy. It does help relax and soothe your body, but it does not make you tired.
And boy, we sure need a lot of relaxing.
Yes, we do.
I tell you. So if anybody's interested, you can get it through the internet, and of course, our toll-free number. I can identify where you can physically pick it up, and I can't think of anything more dramatic than someone who you have as a sister who's actually had her life restored by that formulation. So that's a very, very strong testimony to how effective it is. Well, it's a pleasure to have you on, and I don't know, Dr. Gupta is still on the line?
I'm still here.
Okay.
I had to say one more thing.
Yes.
Your program somehow, I listen to a lot of radio on my phone now, smartphone.
Ah, right. Oh.
Otherwise reception is not, and I listen to radio at home every day almost. Somehow reception wasn't very good for the last hour, half an hour.
Oh, really?
But on the phone it was crystal clear, like your real voice.
Okay.
Real magic voice of Ike Engelbaum, and in memory of my friend Bob Ellis. Hey, wish you all the best.
Okay.
Call me anytime. I'm not that busy as I look. You can always find me.
Okay. No, you're good. Dr. Gupta is good. All right.
Thank you. I will need a certificate to prove if anybody else stays wrong, okay?
Right. And right now we got to take a brief...
I'm walking in my basement. I walked almost 1,000 steps already.
All right.
That's always a stress reliever.
So we're in the basement together. That's good. All right. Listen, right now I got to take a brief break to help pay for the show. We'll be right back. Don't you dare go away. Thank you for being on the air, Pearson. It's always a delight to talk to you. Have a good one. And stay sweet. You like snacks? Well, why don't you try the Aury Bakery folks that have now created 3 new flavors of gluten-free granolas: maple vanilla, blueberry, and toffee chocolate, all sold in 16-ounce bags for just $4.99. All new is Aury's cinnamon pull-apart, made with Danish dough and rich cinnamon filling. It's great with coffee or milk and hard to stop eating. You will find all these items at the Aury Bakery Market on Farmington Road between I-96 and Plymouth Road in Livonia. Try it out. As Jackie Gleason used to say, how sweet it is. For over 30 years, Cruz Hearing and Service has helped thousands of neighbors improve their hearing and enjoy the sounds of their life again. In fact, I'm a client. If you don't hear as well as you'd like, Cruz Hearing can help you. They have an excellent selection of hearing units to fit just about any need and budget with financing available. Trust me, I can attest to that personally. They have 3 convenient locations to serve you: Farmington Hills, Taylor, and their newest in Waterford on M59, west of the airport. Phone Cruz Hearing Aid Service toll-free for a free hearing evaluation. Their phone number is 877-456-CRUZ, C-R-U-Z, or visit them on their web at cruzhearing.com. That number again is 877-456-2789. Financing is available. And Bob Allison, who is no longer around, was one of the clients, and Bob Allison's cookbooks are available. If you call Cruz Hearing, ask for the free cookbook and get a free hearing evaluation at the same time. For that, call 888-489-8980. Call 1-888-489-8980. Even if you don't get the hearing aids, you'll still get a free hearing test as well as a free Bob Allison cookbook. 1-888-489-8980. In 1932, John B. Frentz moved to Royal Oak and opened Frentz Hardware. In addition to the personal service, the family offered the community a store that provided those needed everyday hardware items. Plus, they specialize in unusual and hard-to-find products. Right now, you'll find all the gardening hardware, fertilizer, seeds, weed killers, and more for your landscape. Frentz Hardware is still family-run at the corner of Main Street and 11.5 Mile Road in Royal Oak, and according to Popular Mechanics magazine, is one of the top 12 hardware stores in the United States. If you can't find it anywhere, you'll find it at Frentz. They're open every day. Call 248-544-8111. And when you call, Bob Allison's cookbooks are available for free. A limited supply is available. And if you would like some information on Bob Allison's cookbooks, by all means, call our toll-free number, 888-489-8980. But for hardware needs, call them directly, 248-544-8111. With all those numbers, I assume you'll be able to get a lottery ticket for free, or at least $1 million. Hope that you check out Frentz Hardware in Royal Oak. 'Thank you. 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 'T Hey, and now one issue that has been around, unfortunately, for as long as we've walked the face of the earth. There's a big dilemma. In fact, one of my closest friends, who is not really in the category of being called a senior, slipped and fell in their bathtub. And I don't want to frighten you, but this is, as they say, hot off the press. I called my friend who actually is in her early 40s, stepped in the bathtub. She slipped and fell, and believe it or not, even though her age bracket doesn't normally get into that situation, she broke her back. It was terrible. She's fortunately recuperating, and this just happened yesterday. And guess what? As they say, timing is everything. Right now, I am pleased to have someone that really knows firsthand about a lot of the issues in terms of safety from the National Council of Aging. And their name is okay because it starts with a K. Is that right, Kathy?
Hi. Thank you so much, Ike. Yes, this is Kathy Cameron. I am with the National Council on Aging, and we lead the National Falls Prevention Awareness Week, which is this week, which also happens to be, as yesterday was, the first day of fall. We're all about increasing awareness and sharing safety messages with older adults and their caregivers.
Now, there are various aging committees and what have you. So the sound of national, I assume you are national. Is that right?
We are. Yeah, we are. We've been around for almost 70 years. We're one of the oldest national nonprofit organizations dedicated to improving the lives of older adults. We're located right outside of Washington, D.C., and preventing falls is such a key part of helping people stay healthy as they get older that we have a very large focus on that at the National Council on Aging. And Falls Prevention Awareness Week is really kind of the pinnacle of the work that we do every year. And this year, we have created a free tool that older people can use. It's on our website. We put it on our website because so many people can't get out to, in-person events and activities. But what we created is a falls free checkup. And it's a simple 12-question falls risk screening tool. And essentially what it does is it looks at some of the common risk factors for falls. And risk factors are really aspects of our life that may place us at greater likelihood of experiencing a fall and potentially a serious injury like your friend who broke her back. Other injuries that are pretty common related to falls are hip fractures, other broken bones, even brain injuries. But what the screen does is it goes into questions related to balance and strength, medications, past history of falls, worry about falls, things like, being unsteady on your feet, all of those things that we know can cause someone to fall. So after someone completes the screen, they can receive a full report that kind of shows them what their risk factors are and why those risk factors are important. And probably what's more important than that even is we provide information on how they can reduce their risk for fall. And it might be, changes in the home that need to be made. Like for your friend, maybe if she had grab bars in her shower or if she had a non-slip mat in her shower, that could have helped her from, preventing her from falling in the shower. But there are so many things we can do within our environment to reduce falls.
So is the screening strictly on the internet for them to fill out, or is there human being interaction possible as well?
Well, right now it's only available on our website at ncoa.org. But if an older adult doesn't have a smartphone or if they don't have a computer, they might have a family member or a friend who could go to our website and kind of walk them through each of the questions that they need to answer.
Right.
So I would, definitely ask for help if you don't have a computer or you don't have a smartphone, or an iPad or something like that. There are other people who can help you take this falls risk screen.
Well, I was going to suggest we have a toll-free number, 888-489-8980, that I give out all the time. And if anyone is listening and is, as I like to call it, technology challenged, we can implement that. And I would think one of our close associates is the Area Agency on Aging 1B, which covers a good part of the state. So there are techie-type people, and unfortunately, because of the current situation, you got a lot of young people who are at home that I'm sure I can coordinate that. So, in fact, what you brought out makes so much common sense, in the sense that you don't have to be over 65 to realize that a slippery bathtub floor can cause sheer havoc. Why not have something to grab if that happens? And it's not that expensive to do. So you have a checklist.
Absolutely.
So you have a checklist that people can actually do a walkthrough in their home. Is that how that works, or is it?
We do have information on our website. We have a couple of videos that go room by room about different things that can be done to make them safer, and that might include, improving lighting throughout the house. But we want to definitely have good lighting when we move from our bed to the bathroom, and many older adults do have to get up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom. And we really recommend like a sensor type of light, so that when you get up, there's a light that goes on automatically, so you don't have to turn one on. And there are many, you can go to Home Depot or other hardware stores and get these types of lights that can be installed. That's, another tip. Another is to, if you have to walk up and down the stairs, sometimes it's hard when you go from one step to the other, when you're going down the stairs, to distinguish those steps from each other. We can put, a piece of colored tape on the edge of each step to be able to see one step from another. We also recommend that people, keep things that they use frequently within easy reach. We don't want people, stepping on step stools or chairs to reach things in high places. So those are just, some simple things that we can do. And, if you're uncertain about what changes you need to make in your own home, occupational therapists can come into the home and make an assessment and make recommendations on things that could be changed, and they can help find, a handy person who can come in and make some of those changes if needed.
Well, we work with House Calls on Wheels, where they actually will do free walkthrough and highlight that type of thing. And the great good thing about it is that, like you brought out, you got these Home Depot type Lowe's stores that have all of the necessary safety items, and one of our sponsors, Fritz Hardware, has got everything under the sun. And lighting is so vital.
Yes,
they've
absolutely.
got these now. I bought about half a dozen of them. Believe it or not, it's about the size of a deck of cards. And it's a regular switch, a light switch, that suddenly the whole unit lights up as if it was a fluorescent light. And you can stick it on the wall. And so many times in the basement you have corners that there's not enough really light there that you can comfortably walk around. This you can just it's magnetized if you want it, or stick it on the wall, and you got yourself an instant light. And especially and not to scare people, we have enough to be scared about already. But as you age, your bones are more fragile, and unfortunately, it's a bad combination. Your stability is also compromised. So what you're doing is fantastic, and I commend you for making it this easy.
You.
NCOA.org and
.org, yeah.
.org. So I'm so glad you called in. Anyone is interested?
Oh, thank you.
Okay, well, you sound compassionate. Are you a nurse by chance, or you just sound compassionate?
You know what? I'm not a nurse. I'm a pharmacist, and I got interested in falls prevention because there are so many medications that older adults take that cause side effects or interact with each other that increase the risk for falling. So there are many medications can make people feel drowsy. They can cause dizziness, particularly when we're moving from a lying or sitting position to a standing position. I always recommend older people please move slowly when you're standing up, because that helps our body adjust to the changes in blood pressure. But there are many, some medications might even cause blurry vision or changes in coordination, decrease muscle strength and make changes to our balance. So we really need to be aware of those side effects, and I recommend that all older adults get their prescriptions reviewed at least once a year by a pharmacist or their primary care physician, or whenever they have medication changes.
Right.
Because a new medication might, create lots of problems with the medications they're currently taking. And oftentimes, older adults see multiple doctors, and the doctors may not know what the other doctors are prescribing. So having that regular check of medications is really important, and your pharmacist can do that.
That's a top tip.
I also am I'm very passionate too, because my mother was a frequent faller, and she broke her hip, recovered from that, and then a couple of years later had another fall, and she broke her hip again, and she never came home from the hospital. So she could not recover. It was just too much for her with other problems that she was having. So I have both a personal and professional interest in this topic.
Yeah, and I commend you for being a pharmacist, because I am as well.
Oh, really?
Pharmacists are the pillars of society, as I like to call it. Anyway,
they are.
Talk to your pharmacist, talk to your doctor, and stick to as few people that as possible that can help you, because it's called polypharmacy. You go to different pharmacies, and the prescription drugs theoretically should all be all in one area, but we're all busy, so check with your pharmacist. Hey, is this something I should be aware of as I'm on these other medications? So by all means, Kathy, have a great day, and also stay safe, as they say. It's been a delight talking to you.
Thank you.
And we'll be in touch. Have a good one.
Right, we'll be in touch. Thank you so much, Ike.
Right, okay. And right now, we just have a few minutes left, and I just want to reiterate some of the things that were brought out. Number one is we were talking about safety type precautions. Cruise hearing. If you don't hear that well, many times there are times that you rush to the phone because you're afraid that you'll miss a phone call. and you stumble. So you got to have a professional set of eyes checking it out. All you have to do is call our toll-free number, 1-888-489-8980. We'll send out a free evaluation person who can tell you, hey, this is what you should do, and here's how we can help you make it happen so you can live safely. Right now, I only have enough time for my favorite parting thought, which is, yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift. And that's why we call it the present. Please enjoy your present by living and looking life at the bright side of aging.
WNZK has available a few good hours of